It's Charles Barkley with Wayfair. It's outdoor season, and my patio setup better be ready to play. That's where Wayfair wins. Patio seating, umbrellas, and grills, all delivered fast and easy. Shop wayfair.ca now.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Fully charged and ready to roll. The Elias Macko Show, CJAD 800.
Continuing right here on the Elias Macko Show, just shy of 10:50 right here on CJAD 800. Oh boy, this quote is going to hound Francois Legault for him. Remember when Francois Legault said you can find a one-bedroom apartment for $500 in Montreal? Well, of course we all know you can't do that anymore. With ballooning inflation and a higher overall cost of living, will the money set aside in the provincial budget make housing more affordable? Let's find out about that $634 million in the budget, shall we? Ari Friedman's on the line, full professor at the Peter Guo-Hua School of Architecture at McGill University. Ari, welcome to the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
So let's look at the money announced this week in the budget. What is it supposed to do, and what do you think its effect will actually be?
You know, when you look at the number at first glance, you say, oh, that's significant number, 600 million. But when you see the cost of housing today and the magnitude of the challenge of the crisis, you see that it is really a drop in the bucket. Most of the money will be spent on already allocated or designated objectives. Most of them are in the area of social housing. But what was avoided in this budget is the major crisis, and this is how to help Canadians buy their first home or rent one. If you see the rental cost, the median rental cost of a home today in Montreal is $920. And good luck trying to find something like that. You will not be able to buy a home. The cost of a home, of a single-family home, is something, the average in Montreal way surpassed the $500,000. And I really don't want to be even in the shoes of those first-time home buyers, young people just graduated from university like mine, who are making their first step in the job market and trying to find a home that they can afford. And this was absolutely not addressed, ignored. The government said, you are on your own. You're on your own. Try to find one, and eventually things will be sorted out. But there is no direct help and assistance to the people in this category.
Ari, when I talk to people in real estate, and of course, if you're in real estate, you've got your opinions on these kind of things, but they say, listen, there's no supply. There's not enough homes available. We don't have enough supply. This is why prices are going up. So how do we solve that issue here, Ari? To me, it seems like this is the simplest thing ever in the world to do. If you have a low supply, build. But is it that simple?
You know, when you come to think about it and you ask who should manage a crisis, shall we relegate it or leave it to the private sector and say, you go and build, or the government need to introduce some introductory measure? If we go to recent history, 20, 30 years ago, there were many similar crises before, but the government acted as or provided financial incentive to builders to build affordable housing. And they say that if you build a unit under a certain amount, we will give either the builder, but most likely the homeowner, certain amount of money, free interest loan, and so on. What happened today, that things are being built, but builders do understand that it's more preferable, to build to people in the high income range, because then they make more money. But the question is, who should manage the crisis that we are having now? So we are building things, but we unfortunately, because of lack of guidance, we are not building the right thing that can address issues of affordable housing.
So if you let the developers just do what they want and they focus on, let's say, luxury real estate or expensive properties, Ari, what I think at that time is like, okay, so you have someone that's now moved into, let's say, a luxury condo project, But they vacated another place. Isn't just adding that extra unit on the market, isn't that good enough?
It is not, because, as you may understand, there are new people who are coming to the province all the time. Mm-hmm. In other words, we did not have, if there was a demographic situation where the demand will continue to decline. For example, people say that if elderly people will move into condominiums, they will free up homes in the suburbs. Didn't happen. And it's strange, but it did not happen. In other words, we have continuous demand for housing, and people do understand that owning a home, primarily in the early part of your life, is a necessity to create financial freedom when you are older. So the drive to own a home is stronger than ever, and people are willing to go to extremes, to pay high numbers to own one. But unfortunately, regulating supply, in my opinion, is one of the roles of provincial governments. They need to see the situation and they say, how can we introduce measures that will see more affordable housing unit build over the next few years?
With Ari Friedman from McGill University talking housing. Ari, let's talk about the zoning aspect of this. What about the cities being creative when it comes to zoning? How can that help?
It is, again, you brought an excellent point. And the question is, we recognize that, the cost of a home is made of land, infrastructure, and, of course, the building. Now, in order to increase affordability, what we need to do is to build more units on the same piece of land. And I believe the densification, or making sure, that the government making sure that, say, density bonuses will be given and so on. So the idea of building more units needs to be regulated, and it has to be done through zoning regulation. Now, it is likely that if you take Montreal, the city of Montreal, the island of Montreal, or the center of the island, is really built. There is no places to build anymore. I'm talking about large development. Mm-hmm. And I believe that what needs to happen is that as we are now developing an amazing transit system, along this transit system there is fantastic amounts of land that are ready to be built. And I think that a concentrated effort by the city of Montreal and by the suburban municipalities, along with the provincial government, need to see that those lands that have been freed now near transit station, transit-oriented development, will be built to make affordable housing.
Ari, what do when you're downtown at the McGill campus, whenever I'm downtown and I'm walking, if I walk down Crescent or I go to René Lévesque and I end up near the Atwater area, or I go east towards Phillips Square, no matter where I go downtown, I look up, I see them building a condo tower. What goes through your mind when you see those projects?
The question is, are they building for the right kind of people? In other words, are they answering or providing response to really the people at need, or this is investment property for many. But what we have not done, if you walk into these buildings and you go to the typical floor, there are usually 1 or 2 bedroom apartments. These are not family housing. If Montreal want to keep families here, they need to build homes with 2 or 3 bedrooms apartment, and unfortunately, we do not see much of it.
So do you like the rule, the 20-20-20 rule from the Plante administration? Do you like that rule?
I like that rule, and I feel that it is nice. It is a very, very effective rule, but I don't know if it was implemented. When it comes to taking a tough position, the city look at developer like it's a double-edged sword. We want them to build. We need the taxes, but we do not want to be on their bedside. Mm-hmm. We don't want them to turn into our enemies. So I believe that there needs to be dialogue, conversation, incentive that will see those ideas, those programs being implemented and eventually end in a bottom line that will see more young people having a place.
Ari, we have to leave it there. It's always fascinating talking to you. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
Ari Friedman is a full professor at the Peter Guo-Hua School of Architecture at McGill University.
I'll withdraw.